welcome to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation's Conversation at Home program. I'm Amanda Nduka. Now, without further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce the cast of Showtime's The Chi, Jacob Latimore, Yolonda Ross, Birgundi Baker, and Hannaha. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Thank you all for joining us. And I want to start off by saying congrats on a season 5. That is obviously an accomplishment, especially now in this current landscape of TV. So congrats on that. It's evident that the show has really struck a chord with an audience and the way that it depicts the joyful and sometimes brutal realities of those living in the Chicago South Side. It doesn't shy away from asking the hard questions and focusing on the hard facts. So for you guys, how does it feel being involved with a show that has found such a supportive audience on Showtime?
Great.
It's a dream come true. I mean, you never know how a TV show will land years from when you started. So, every year we just try to embrace the moment, enjoy each season. And we're just grateful to be on 5. I think it just shows a lot with the fans. They just really tapped into the show. They really love us. They love our characters. And, it's sort of become reality for the audience, but it's work for us, so it's so dope to watch it. And it's the love over the past couple of weeks of just like BET Awards and Essence Fest and just being able to actually touch the fans has been incredible. Cause the social media thing is dope. You see the numbers, you're like, oh, it's crazy. But to get out there and see that love and see how the show is really impacting people's lives, it's amazing. So sometimes we don't even know the work we're doing is so impactful. I think we take a step back and look at it like, wow, we're doing something bigger than we think.
Yeah. Can you guys talk about some of the reactions that you have? You talked about social media and the love that you guys have been receiving. Can you talk about some of the reactions that you guys have received in regards to the show?
Yeah, I think most of our stories resonate with a lot of different households. So I'm always, when I'm out, when people not only relate their experiences to my storyline, but other storylines. So we definitely making an impact in the streets, like you were just saying. And it kind of goes back to this cultural thing. It's like when you see your household on television, it's like, oh, okay, that's something we do. Everyone do it, So seeing that, I think is pretty dope, and hearing people relate in that way.
Yeah. I've definitely had people say, thank you. You remind me of my niece. You remind me of me when I was younger. And as an actor, it feels so good because it's like, oh, this is real for you, huh? Like, it feels really good. Yeah. And I've had people say, I'm mad at you. I can't stand you. So it's all love. Either way, it feels real for you. And that's my job. I'm doing my job.
I gotta agree with all of them. And it's the same thing, while traveling, because that's really when I see a lot of people is when I'm going to other places. And it's just amazing to see the wide range of people that watch the show and know the characters intimately. And, they, like Hannah said, they see them, they see the world, and they say it's their world. I did that with my kid, or my son or daughter did that, and I didn't know what to do, or da 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 da. And it's all races, So that's what's I feel really beautiful about it, is that it shows how much we are more alike than different. There, we all go through the same kinds of situations, one way or another. It might be a little different here, a little different there, but people relate.
Right. And you guys have all been on the show since the beginning. So can you talk about sort of how your characters have grown since we first met them in season 1? And what are some things that you've learned about your characters along the way?
Who's going to start?
I mean, I feel like I'm constantly learning about Emmett. I think that's the beauty of a series, where you can come back every season and dive a little deeper into the character, into the backstory of like, all right, this character's in this situation now. How would he react, or what decisions would he make here? And I think half of it is like myself, and then half of it is just like not me at all, because I'm learning how to be a father on screen, so you're learning so much, and you're learning about dynamic of parenting and not being with the mother of your child anymore. And then you're like, all right, how do I navigate that and still be a healthy environment for the children? So it's a lot of self-work. I think these characters are going through self-development, and just like every day we're seeing these characters grow. So it's a beautiful thing. I think it can hit you on a personal level. Then it can also just be just super relatable for everybody.
What have you learned as an actor, just to follow up, playing Emmett for the past 5 seasons?
I mean, like, I think the first season I was worried, like, man, I'm not a father for real. So how would I like look like a father? So, but I think I embraced all that nervousness. I embraced all that first time sort of jitters, because I am a young father. That's my character. I'm supposed to be sweaty and clammy at the hands and just like trying to make the baby stop crying. And then like in my feelings about certain things that I need to grow up about, and just like or learning how to, it's so much. It's so much. I think that Emmett has so many layers, and I think it's been a great sort of kind of training experience, to be honest, you know what I mean, to on screen, but it's fun. It's fun, and I get to build this character, so it's been incredible. Season 5.
And Yolonda, what about you? How has your character grown, and what have you learned as an actor playing Jada?
What I feel is Jada, like from second season to now, she was used more as a support to other people. She was there for others more, and then she went through the cancer scare. So there was all that, and how she dealt with that fear, feeling less than usual, so many emotions that got caught up in that journey. Now that she's on the other side of it, taking care of herself and making herself happy. So I do feel it's her finding herself really, in these last few seasons, where she is taking care of Jada, finding happiness, and making the most of each day.
What have you learned from Jada? What have you learned from playing Jada?
I feel out of all the characters I've ever played, Jada's probably the most like me, because she's a single woman. She, not that I have any kids or anything, but if you're at a certain point in your life where you are single and you are, you're doing well for yourself, but you want love, you want happiness, you want to feel fulfilled in life, that is something that it's interesting to see in a different household. And so with Jada, I feel like she might be a little more reserved than me in some ways, but it's interesting just to see her kind of blossom, and in ways that maybe I should try to blossom, as far as being out, trying different things, that kind of stuff.
And Hannah, what about you? How has your character evolved throughout the seasons, and what are some things that you've learned from playing her?
I think Tiffany, she definitely has become more grounded as a woman, and she's gotten to a place where she's not afraid to challenge her surroundings and be more risky about the adventures that she go on and the decisions that she make. I think too, she's in that age range where you're learning a lot and you're kind of trying to figure out life in a lot of ways. So we do see her growth, that arc of her growth from season 1 to season 5, and seeing her grow mentally and maturing herself, even as a mother, but, as a woman that's trying to establish herself and create some type of foundation for the future. For myself, Tiffany, for me, I wouldn't do a lot of the things that she does. So it's kind of encouraging and inspiring to see a young woman make the decisions that she make. And you kind of get a little bit of compassion towards other people's perspectives on life. Because sometimes we're so quick to put our mouth on someone else and say, like, why would they make this type of decision? But maybe that works for them with their current circumstances and their situation. Just to kind of touch on like the open relationship thing, you know, a lot of people may be against that. It's very taboo in the Black community, but, you know, let's look at it from another perspective and seeing her life and seeing, hey, maybe this may work just to make the marriage kind of feasible. You know, you just kind of get a little bit more empathy, understanding, patience, and compassion for other people's situations.
Can you tell us a little bit about sort of Keisha's evolution and some of the things that you've sort of pulled from her or picked up from her through the journey?
Yeah, I mean, Keisha has turned into a whole woman over these past 5 seasons. It's crazy looking back at the old seasons and seeing, like, she went from sneaking out of the house to raising a son. A huge, huge transformation. She's so much more grounded. You can see it in the way she dresses. You can hear it in the tone of her voice. Everything has just changed. She's a woman now. And part of that is because of, you know, the natural transition from being a girl to a woman. But a lot of it has to do with her trauma and her experiences. And I've learned from Keisha that you can bounce back from anything. There are some days that I really have to like take a moment before we start and just think about her journey and what she went through, because it's so deep. It's so deep. And to remind myself, like, you can't go on screen and just be. You have to bring all of that she went through, because people are counting on you to show that. Just because she's not going through those things anymore doesn't mean that that's over. And she taught me as an actor to just bring it all. When you do a guest star, you kind of just bring what happened before, what happened in the previous scene. But with Keisha, you got to bring it all. You got to bring what's happened season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and bring it all in those moments. So she's taught me a lot. She's gone through a lot, and it's taught me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, your character, I mean, all the characters, they sort of all deal with their own traumatic experiences. Keisha's experience was super heavy. The show deals with a lot of heavy themes and topics that are relevant to the Black community and that are also very timely. So for you guys, looking back, what are some of your favorite moments that kind of stick out for you throughout the times of the season? And was there a particular scene or I guess moment that really really scared you, and was there one that really excited you? And anybody can jump on this one.
I'll talk about a scene that excited me. I always say this, but the scene when Keisha gives birth in the front room around all these women, that scene, that's my favorite scene from all the seasons. And it always excites me because it's like, you know, I don't know, I didn't grow up with that type of representation and that type of seeing that and that type of support and how they was for her. It was, to me, it was just a beautiful, lovely scene altogether.
Yeah, I think seeing that on TV was definitely impactful. Like, as a Black woman, seeing all those Black women surround this young girl that's making this huge transition. I've never seen something so intimate in the Black community on TV like that. When it comes to women, I agree with you. I haven't seen that. So that was very special.
It excited me and scared me was when I had to shave my hair. Oh, I didn't have to shave my head, but I wanted to. And the fears that Jada was going through, you know, with cancer being in her life and having to go through that was going through my head. Mortality, my mortality, Jada's mortality, thinking about all these things like, is my son going to be left alone? Just all of those emotions went into that, and they had been building up to that day of shooting that. And it was a lot. It was also like a release in that moment of just letting it go and getting rid of it, because it was like Jada wasn't going to let cancer just take her over. That, at least that's what I was feeling in that moment. Yet at the same time, you're just very scared. And I would say the one that scared me, because we had spoke about it a little bit, like things with Ronnie, as an actor, you know what's going to happen. But in this case, I think it was like season two or three, I went out on a date with, was going to go out on a date with Ronnie. And he came to my house inebriated. And he reaches for Jada and holds her. And in that moment, because Ntade did it with like such strength, it was like, whoa, it's sort of like it lets something off, like loose in you as a woman or as a person being caged. It was scary. It was very scary in that moment, and that's what we were showing, within that scene. But it was weird to feel it in the body in that moment. So that was my scary one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so many. Definitely Jada's storyline with cancer. I think like us doing those scenes together is just like, and my auntie right now is battling like right now. So I think those scenes were hitting home for me as well. I would say going early on, maybe season, I think season 1, where Emmett is deciding if he's going to leave his child at the park, and just like giving up. I think that was I'm not a father, but it felt so wrong, and it felt so like you felt lost, and you just felt confused, and I feel like those are a lot of scenes that make you really feel it in real life, where it's not like you realize you're acting on scene on camera, and you're on set, but you're actually feeling it in a personal way. And those types of scenes right there really, bring the show home, and just like and have a different purpose for what you're doing. So that was definitely one of my scariest moments. But it's more. I mean, I want to let Berg and Hannah go.
One my scary moments are always when I have to run. I'm not gonna even lie, because I'm like, my legs are not gonna make it. How many times y'all trying to do this? Because I can only run about 3-4 times, and my legs gonna start wobbling. And it's cold in Chicago, so the wind is just hitting. I know that's a superficial answer, but I do get scared when I have to run, and I'm like, okay, let me get my form right, because I don't want no runner to watch it and be like, she don't know what she's doing. So it's scary. It's scary, but I always feel like, yeah, like I'm doing this. Like, some actors lose weight or gain weight or grow their hair. So when I have to get physical and run, I'm like, yeah, I'm a real actor. I'm doing it, but it's scary.
Do you have a favorite moment?
I'll piggyback off of Hannah, the birthing scene. I thought that was a beautiful moment to be surrounded by all of these Black women and be supported by all of these Black women. And I also like when Keisha says to her mother, I want to keep my baby. Because I feel like it was a huge turning point in her storyline. And I knew a lot of people were going to be mad, like, why would you want to keep that baby? But I knew it was a way to grow Keisha and to transform her. So I like the decision that they made for her to keep the baby.
Yeah. And what about you, Hannah? What's one thing that scared you the most, and one scene or moment that excited you the most?
The exciting scene was definitely when Keisha gave birth to the baby in the front room, and just being surrounded by so many different women. I'll be honest, when I was growing up, I always said, I'm gonna have an epidural, I'm gonna do it in the hospital. But seeing that scene really inspired me to potentially give birth that way. So I love that scene. That's my favorite scene throughout in all the seasons. And a scary moment for me, not necessarily a scene, but is when Ronnie, he makes a decision to go after this child, not really having all the details or knowing what's ahead of him or what can potentially happen, and not even considering his past and who he is as a man or his family, but making a decision to go after a child and figure something out. And we know what happens from then. So he kind of get himself in a jam that honestly, it definitely changes his life.
Do you guys ever get nervous about certain storylines? I mean, the show, obviously, like I said, it doesn't shy away from tackling taboo, controversial topics. As actors, how do you guys feel about having to portray these sort of more controversial storylines, and how do you work through them? And or do you get concerned about what other people might think? How do you sort of deal with all of that?
I definitely think you get nervous. I know for myself, I got nervous when, we were pretty much introduced to the idea of us having an open marriage, because that's something that I wasn't, really okay with in my personal life. You kind of allow it to affect you in that way. But I think as actors, we have to constantly remind ourselves that we are stepping into someone else's shoes, and we're telling other people's stories, and we're bringing their words to life and not ours. And just to kind of touch back on what I said before about gaining more understanding and perspective on how other people live their lives. Just because you don't live your life like me or vice versa, that doesn't mean we should have any type of judgmental kind of perspective on their lifestyle. So it is very difficult, but I think we work through it just kind of constantly detaching us. I mean, that's how I work through it, just kind of constantly detaching myself and enjoying the fact that I get to step into somebody else's shoes and tell that story, because that's what our job is. That's what our dream is,
I mean, yeah, I think, it definitely get nerve-wracking sometimes. You like, oh, man. And I feel like Twitter and Instagram, like, I think I posted something on my story yesterday. It was like, don't be this guy, and it's my face right here, So it's like,
I saw that.
Y'all stepping out there, and like, I feel like our culture, we see the show as that's us. That's not a TV show, So you are putting yourself in a bold place where you're like, I'm standing on this, and I'm standing on this character, and when they see you in public, it's like, why you keep doing that? Leave Tiff, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you start making decisions that go against the decisions you would make in certain situations, and then but it also lets down this huge ego that men have. You know what I mean? Like, we can have so much ego in a relationship that it'll distract us from actually having a connection. So I think that's been like a super learning experience as well, and just like. And then just playing that on screen, like actually wanting his woman back, even after, she did the unforgivable, right? Mm-hmm. And like playing that on screen is like, okay, all right, just be cool. Make this breakfast. I think it's constantly, I think that's what makes our show so great.
Yeah. Just to piggyback off of what you said about being a show, when people watch your show and they see, oh, this is us, this is our life, this is the way we speak to each other and we interact. For Yolonda and Birgundi, do you guys feel pressure when you're playing these scenes and you're representing these people, that there's so many people that do have that story and that are that person that grew up in these neighborhoods? Do you feel pressure to sort of get the story right? When you're depicting your characters?
Yeah, I do feel pressure. But then I remember it's an honor. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I knew I did not want to be one of those actors that just get on screen and look pretty. Like, I want to do the ugly cry. I want to get physical. I want to do all of that. So while I do feel pressure, it's like, okay, this is what I wanted. Let me do my work and let me go in and let me do it, because it's an honor to portray a real character. I wish I had a Keisha to watch on TV, and a Tiff to watch on TV, and an Emmett to watch on TV when I was younger, with those type of storylines and those type of connections. And so being able to do it, it's an honor. So the pressure kind of goes away when you get into it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is an honor to be able to do it. It's also, it's exciting. I don't see it as pressure. I see it as, that's what our job is. Like, there's definitely actors out there that go on to act, and then there are people that go to become. And I feel like what we do is become other people. We are here to tell you the truth about these people, to showcase them in a truthful way. And, yeah, I'm there to do it right for them so they can see themselves on TV.
Yeah, and finally, just to wrap up, we are 3 episodes into season 5 now. Is there anything that you can tease about what's to come or what's in store for the rest of the season? And then what are you also excited about for the audience to get to see?
Roller coaster.
I'm excited.
Possibilities.
Yeah, I'm excited about all the cool debatable moments. It's gonna be fun. I think I can't wait to see the last episode, episode 10. I mean, as I'm watching, I'm like, oh, I forgot. Wait, I forgot this happened. So I had to like rewind some stuff. So that's a hard question. It's always a hard.
There's no hints we can get from this.
I'm excited to see who people blame for certain things. Yeah. Like who says, is this person's fault? No, it's this person's fault. Like, it's so interesting to see who people put the blame on. Cause it's like, oh, okay. That's how you saw that. Okay.
And something I want people to take from the show is like understanding that there's different aspects of love. You know, the tone of our show this season is love, and you're going to see different colors of what that is and what it means to each person. Black love. Yeah. But colorful.
Well, Hannah, Jacob, Birgundi, and Yolonda, I want to thank you guys for joining us in the conversation today. And on behalf of the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, I want to thank you for sharing your experience, process, and craft with your fellow performers. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
What up, SAG? What up, SAG?